Hey guys, it's me, Delisia Inge, your Delaware and Maryland Realtor. Hey, I'm sitting outside in my car, which I spend a lot of time in my car, obviously, but I'm of course waiting to go into a showing. But while I was sitting here, I wanted to bring up a topic that many people have asked me about, and it is in regards to foreclosures. So we all know that the moratorium was supposed to end on July 31st, but they have extended it until September. And so this is the moratorium was basically a way to help keep families in their homes that were being foreclosed on, or renters in their homes that couldn't afford to pay rent and all of that. So that has been extended, I believe, to September 30th. Um, Google it if if you want the exact, but I believe it has been extended. But at any rate, the question has been, oh, well, will there be a lot of foreclosures coming on the market? And, so for people who are in the market for houses, and of course we know that the housing market right now, houses have gone up tremendously in price. So some people just feel like foreclosures are going to be a better deal, and because of the moratorium being lifted, that there are going to be more foreclosures and opportunities on the market coming up. So here's my take on that whole thing. So for one, I'm not the type of person who like to come up off of someone else's downfall, basically. So I never want to see anyone put out of their homes and not have a place to live. So with that, of course, there is a place for it, unfortunately, where some people will have to be displaced from their homes due to lack of being able to pay the mortgage. In this case, I just feel like we're not going to see as many foreclosures as people are thinking that we're going to see. Now, granted, about 9 million people took advantage of the moratorium, where they, either delayed their mortgage or, took a cut, paid less on their mortgage, or, whatever they negotiated with their banks. Granted, that happened. A lot of people took advantage of that. But also consider, as of, just recently, there were only about less than 2 million people were still taking advantage of it. So several million people got back on track. And, being that now things are opening up, people are getting back to work, people are now being able to pay their mortgage. So it's not, so they're no longer a part of that program. They're up to date on their mortgage. Everything's great, hopefully. Also, we want to consider too, because the price of houses have gone up so much, we may see more people deciding to sell their home as opposed to foreclose it. Because of course, if you go into foreclosure, that messes up your credit. It'd be hard for you to find somewhere else to live. So that's really the last resort for most people. Not everybody wants to just take advantage of the opportunity just because it's an opportunity to live rent-free. People would really want to, I would think, if you own a home, you would want to pay for it, right? And have a place to live. So I feel like more people will, put their house on the market before they go into foreclosure, because they're going to find there's going to be equity in it, more than likely, depending on when they purchased and, all those circumstances. It's possible that they will make more money just by selling their home. So we may see more homes coming on the market in that regard. And these could be from distressed sellers, people who, again, still aren't able to pay the mortgage, but maybe they can sell their home and find a less expensive place to live. Also, let me check my notes. Yeah, and then the banks. The banks don't necessarily want to go through this process because it costs them money. So some banks are even extending the moratorium for them until next year. So you have banks like Wells Fargo, JP Morgan. They are, again, extending the moratorium because they don't want to kick people out of their houses. They understand, and and it's a lot different than what happened back in 2007, 2008, when there were a lot of foreclosures. So the banks are also working with these families that need the additional help, and you would have to be 120 days behind on your mortgage in order for you to even go into pre-foreclosure. So when you see homes that are in pre-foreclosure, that just means that the bank has notified them that they are behind on their mortgage. So they still have time to to make up the payments and get out of pre-foreclosure. So that doesn't, when you see those listed on Zillow or Realtor.com or wherever you're looking for houses, that does not necessarily mean that that house will be going into foreclosure. So you want to be careful too of what you're looking at and what you're reading on these real estate search engines too. So that's just kind of my take on what the foreclosure market is going to look like. Again, I don't think it's going to be as huge as a lot of people think that it's going to be. Those 9 million homes and 9 million people that took advantage of the moratorium, their houses are not going into foreclosure. The other thing I do also want you to consider too is foreclosures are not always the best deal, because when you purchase a foreclosure, you also take on all of the debt and liens of that property. So if there's a water bill that hasn't been paid, an electric bill that hasn't been paid, taxes that haven't been paid, all of those expenses now become yours when you decide to purchase that house. And it also takes a long time to close on a foreclosure. So you're looking at maybe 6 months before you can even get into that house. So you have to do your due diligence and know what you're getting into. There may be some things that need to be fixed up in the house, because just think about, typically people who go into foreclosure, they fall behind financially on other things. So they're not able to keep up with the utilities and the maintenance of the home and all of that. So you may be inheriting a bigger problem than if you were to just go and pay the market price for a home that's not in foreclosure. So also consider that when you're thinking about purchasing a foreclosed home. So again, all my my opinion, this is what I think. Some of it's fact, you can you look it up, but I do want you to just kind of be mindful. If you're ready to buy a house, let's get into the market and just prepare yourself to go and buy a house in this market. Not necessarily count on the downfall of someone else in order for you to purchase a house. So with that said, thank you for listening. Please take a moment to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Follow me on Instagram at Delisia Inge, Facebook as well, Delisia Inge Realtor, and again on my YouTube channel. Please subscribe and share. Thank you so much, and you all have a wonderful day.